Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the Mid-South Wrestling Review Series. March 27th, 1982 is the episode today. We open with a review of what happened the previous week with Ted DiBiase losing the North American Championship to Bob Roop with the help and interference both from Skandar Akbar and the One Man Gang. We immediately go into a promo from Paul Orndorff, who basically says he knows now that Bob Roop is a snake in the grass. He can't trust Roop. His championship shot was stolen from him, and he is ready, willing, and able to get even with Bob Roop for that theft. And Orndorff really, really good here, driving home, kind of being, I don't know if he's a babyface quite yet, but the idea that that's where he's going because Roop was the one that betrayed him is certainly there. I think the crowd begins to kind of get behind Orndorff, but not fully quite yet. Anyway, he goes into an enhancement match with Coco Samoa. And, very basic stuff there. Cranking on the headlock, takes him over, that sort of thing. And then we kind of see Orndorff continuing to get beaten down a little bit by Samoa. His mind on the issues with his adversary in Roop and maybe not having his mind all together. Samoa kind of being protected a little bit in that he's not, being embarrassed in any way or anything like that. And he's, he actually working barefoot. Stun gun style maneuver by Orndorff gets things going back his way. And he's, kind of kicking, brawling, and keeping Coco Samoa down for the duration of what he can. Goes to a back chin lock, gets a little time out of that, and comes back to his feet. Kind of a bit of a brawl. Samoa coming ahead, or coming out ahead in the strike department, which I think is good. And a leaping clothesline, kind of the flying clothesline that Randy Savage used to do, followed up by a power slam by Orndorff and a victory for Paul Orndorff here on Mid-South Television. We move to Orndorff interrupting the match of Bob Roop. Obviously, the stealing of the championship shot is not something that Orndorff's going to let go unnoticed, unpunished, or whatever. And so, that match never really gets off the ground because of that confrontation taking place. And there is a brawl, a huge brawl, between Orndorff and Roop, former friends, former close to say best friends. Punch kicks and a drop kick by Orndorff, and needless to say, Roop trying to back off. Bob Orton comes in to try and save Bob Roop. That doesn't seem to happen very well, and that goes for several minutes. The referee actually tries to pull Roop out of harm's way, and there is Buddy Landell, I believe, who was the intended opponent. Orndorff takes him out as well. Meanwhile, Iron Mike Sharp and Mike Boyer up next. Sharp has been on a bit of a winning streak as of late in the area. He manages to continue that sort of deal here, and sharp and winning streak is not words that generally for most people go together, but up until I guess 84ish, Mike Sharp does have more of a career than most people realize. He goes to work on the arm pretty aggressively early, cinching up on the arm. But again, even a guy like Mike Sharp here in 1982, an arm bar can mean something. They literally got 2 minutes out of an arm bar. Big back body drop by Sharp, doesn't have to do a lot, goes right back to the arm, and can get time out of working a hold. I think, everyone says guys won't react to holds. Guess what? UFC, they react to holds all the time because they buy that the holds are real. Now, obviously in UFC they are, but if you are a good enough performer in wrestling sense, you should be able to convince people, hey, that might actually be real. And if you don't have the ability to do that, then maybe, in my personal opinion, you need to find another vocation. Anyway, so they continue to go through, and I mean, literally, Sharp gets a total of at least 3.5 minutes out of a arm bar in 2 or 3 applications. And then Sharp comes back with a few short shots and then goes for his hanging backbreaker, gets the submission victory out of that. We then go to the Samoans versus JYD and Killer Carl Cox. Easy for me to say. And the Samoans are still your tag team champions, managed by Skandor Akbar, Afa and Sika, of course. And we've kind of always see the Junkyard Dog. He's kind of vacillates really between the singles and tag team runs. He's not really 100% in one or the other in fullness. He's kind of there in both. We see him get some snapmare takeovers. We see him with punches, kicks, and headbutts, but that's all that the Junkyard Dog needed. People loved him in that area, and he'd been loved since he got there, pretty much, honestly. Cox comes in, punch, kick, body slam, and then back to Dog. Dog is the highlight of any tag match he's really in terms of the perception of the people. And so, him and Mike George previously had held the tag team championships, so he's no stranger to working with the Samoans. Cox comes in, gets in the wrong corner for quite a bit of time, gets beat on, but then the baby faces are able to execute a momentary double team, big kind of running clothesline by the Dog, and then some cheating, passing of I don't know if there's a weapon involved there, but there seems to be a kind of falling headbutt by one of the Samoans. Gets an advantage. Dog gets back to his feet, gets cut off again, and notice Dog always allowed to come back. Both Samoans in double teaming him. Matter of fact, that leads to all 4 guys being in the ring. Double teams and the like, big body slam and double teaming on the Dog for the next couple of minutes, and a big double clothesline on the Dog as well. Referee loses control, and needless to say, Akbar, who is so worried that he loses his head garb as part of this, Akbar actually gets slammed and body slam brought into the ring and choked out. Referee having some difficulty getting the Dog off of Akbar. That leads to the Dog becoming frustrated with the referee, throwing the referee out of the ring, and that leads to, obviously, a disqualification, but also leads to the wonder of the Samoans being able to retain their championships, walking away with the championship still. We go to another contest here. One-Man Gang versus Terry Gibbs. Gibbs, of course, an enhancement talent for the WWF, probably 86, 87, on through for several years. And the One-Man Gang still hasn't found himself, still in the blue singlet, black boots, and with hair. But the style that he would go on to encompass is here. Shoulder tackles for several attempts and doesn't lead anywhere for Gibbs, but Skandor Akbar happy with his man on the outside, attempted drop kick, and doesn't get anywhere for Gibbs either. Backbreaker from the Gang gets him in control of the match. Not a big surprise there. And ultimately, he's using really basic stuff, punches, kicks, elbows, and the like. But being a big man, that's all he needs. Big body slamming again. Remember, Ted DiBiase going to want to get even with him at some point. Big 747 style splash, 1, 2, 3, and the Gang is victorious. Now, remember last week we hadn't really seen Tully Blanchard do much, right? This is different. Tully Blanchard in a feature contest here in almost a main event slot, although not final match on the show because they still do the standby style. Mr. Olympia against Tully Blanchard is here, and that is a major upgrade for the relative newcomer to the area. Blanchard gets bumped around, big back body drop by Olympia early, and ultimately, kind of there for a good bit. Um, they work a headlock for a few minutes, and Olympia obviously has the advantage there because of his speed and all of that. Going into a battle over top wrist lock and some hip tosses, Blanchard heads to lower ground in a hurry as he heads out to the ringside area. Then we see the work over the arm. So one body part doesn't work. The babyface goes to another body part. There is no need for, Hudakan Ranas and dives over the top rope. They're keeping the crowd with basic stuff by telling the story. Every time that Blanchard comes up, he will get a cheap shot here or there. But when he is on the defense, he's always backing up. He's backing off. He's being dominated. And again, a block of a monkey flip in the corner is all that's needed to turn the tide. A near fall, and then Blanchard complaining about the cadence of the referee's count. The near fall came off of a follow up off the monkey flip and such. And then, again, complaining about the referee's cadence of the count. Big body slam by Blanchard. Again, goes right back to the cover until he puts him in a reverse chin lock. And, we spend the next couple of minutes seeing the Mr. Olympia try to fight out of that. Olympia, obviously, oddly, at least to me, wearing purple trunks in this scenario. Then we see the shots there switch with the momentum with a vertical suplex and then a body slam followed up by Olympia. Attempted to splash, but gets the knees up. 1, 2, and a kick out from Olympia. But notice that Blanchard, who is frustrated with not getting the win, goes right to choking and then attempts to use the ropes as a way to gain a victory. Doesn't work out for him. Instead, a inside cradle 1, 2, 3, and amazingly, Olympia slips over. Blanchard, who has been dominant up until that point, or at least competitive up until that point, has a complaint about the way the match ends, and he is encouraged to, be able to continue that. We move to a standby match with about 5 minutes remaining in the program, a little less. Jesse Barr and Rick Ferreira. Barr comes out wrestling a bit more aggressively. Both guys in blue trunks. Barr with a drop kick right under the chin, and he is kind of the guy that they're wanting to put over in the match. Big body slam by him again, and then get some ride time on a side headlock. Roll up attempted by Barr, but he doesn't get all he needs on it, and his opponent holds on to the ropes and snap over as the opponent takes over for the next few minutes. Sunset flip attempts by Barr, 1, 2, but that's all he gets out of it. And with a couple of minutes left in the match, they go into a series of near falls. Actually go right into a front chancery from an interesting position, and then kind of they're feeling each other out with about 2 minutes left in the program. Then we see Barr get a head scissors on. He almost ends up in a pinning predicament, and then Barr is on the receiving end of a bit of a guard and other things, and then we kind of see the referee, I believe, right at about this point, lean towards calling the match. And they do. They call the match with the guys as a TV time limit draw, with the guys in a pinning predicament. That will close us for the month of March. Hopefully, I'll have some time to do at least April today. But until next time, we'll keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.